I'm looking through the YouTube live chat. Obviously, you can watch us now live on YouTube. I'm totally distracted now by Jose saying Utah stole my Coyotes. Jose, I don't even have time to read all the context, but I'm with you, man. Utah also stole my Coyotes.
I'm distracted by them saying that Jared is potentially in a hurricane right now.
Yeah. I don't know how accurate the YouTube chat is for weather reports.
Yeah, neither do I.
But that
I just texted him, though. I'll let you guys know if,
let us
he's okay.
Somebody did write Hurricane Ferret in the YouTube chat.
Okay.
Which I want to make sure Jared's okay first, but that's hilarious if he is. There's the consensus, and I think, Wolf, you would agree, and most people would agree right now, the reason the KD trade isn't done is because these teams are lowballing the Phoenix Suns. And
the question is, why are they lowballing the Phoenix Suns?
And the other question, logically, is who's going to blink first? I mean, this part of it, I think, we're all getting tired of the fact that it's just hanging in the air.
Yeah.
But this part of it is fascinating to me because these other teams are like, well, you said you're going to trade them this week, so we've got you. We'll offer you whatever we want. You have to take it. I know that perception's out there, and it might be true. We're going to see how much the Suns' self-imposed deadline is a thing they can't move. But in reality, if you just take a step back and remove all emotion from this and forget the fact that it's the Suns and that it's Kevin Durant or whatever, you have a team that is on the verge of trading an all-time great player who's still a great player, and that team knows they're not winning the title next year. So really, they got nothing to lose. If I'm the Suns, I'm like, you don't want to make me an offer? I'll just sit here and whatever. I'll go out there, and if I keep KD and Booker, I'll probably win 45 games next year. If I can move Beal, I don't know. But I got nothing to lose. It's not like the Suns' window is right now. Houston's window is right now.
Yeah, it is. For me, Brian Gregory and the fact that you've got a new general manager and you've got new leadership in the Phoenix Suns organization, I think also could work against them right now at this point in time. And the reason why I say that, Basinonians, is because, again, if you're a general manager, are you going to try Brian Gregory? Hey, listen, Brian Gregory, I know you've got to go ahead and you've got to move Kevin Durant. You've already said we're moving him before the NBA draft coming up on Wednesday. We are definitely doing that. We're using that push point to get him out of here. And if you're not ready to deal, well, forget you then. Okay, we'll see how resolute you really are on this. So I think he's being tested, poked and prodded, so to speak, to find out just how resolute he truly is.
You made this point earlier. I think it's one of the biggest ones that hasn't been talked about enough in the story. Everybody just looks and they see KD's getting traded, and if it's a national perspective, they're just, hey, how do we get him on the Knicks, or how do we get him on this team or that team? They don't really care about what the Suns are going to get out of it, and whatever. It's national perspective. But even around here, I think a lot of the conversation is like, okay, when's this trade going to happen, or what are the Suns going to get for KD? Or you brought this up earlier, like this is going to tell us a lot, and it's really going to set the tone for Brian Gregory's tenure as the GM of this team if he just gets pushed around and is like, well, and Matt Ishbia's got to help him on this. If it's just like, well, we said we had to make a trade by Sunday, so here's a trade. I guess we'll just take the Spurs garbage offer. What if what if the Suns dig their heels in and Brian Gregory's like, yeah, I know I'm new. You're not pushing me around. I really ultimately do hold the cards here. I'm the one with the best player in all these deals.
This is one of the reasons why I find it surprising that we're still talking about the next 48 hours. Well, there's 3 more days after that leading up to the draft.
And there's also 6 more months after that leading up to the trade deadline.
Yes, so it's a situation where I think Brian Gregory and the Phoenix Suns can expect maybe not to get what they want now.
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it? You going to dig your heels in? Are you going to be resolute? Are you going to go through the NBA draft and say, okay, fine.
Do it.
You know what?
Dig your heels in, man.
We'll wait for the next push point, whenever that might be. Training camp. Just saying. Start of training camp.
It's going to drive all of us crazy. I get that, but dig your heels in. Set the tone for what you're going to be like as a GM.
You've been talking about that for a while now.
Yeah.
You're done with the idea of giving KD away for a fire sale.
The second you give him away, that's your last big trade chip. I know people will say Booker, but they're not trading Booker. So this is your last real piece that you can use to set up the next era of Suns basketball. And if you can't trade him, and I know the Beal thing is a complicating factor. If you could just move Beal, that would make this so much easier. If you can't trade him, then you have Devin Booker and Kevin Durant next year. I mean, to me, the two options are you trade Durant and you're not really going to win anything next year. Or you keep Durant and you're probably not going to win anything next year just based on what we saw last season. But maybe you can find a way to move on from Beal in the coming months and you can add some pieces. Again, you're not winning the title, but you're better next year if you keep Durant. I understand we're to the point where you need to trade him, but you have that in your back pocket if teams are going to keep lowballing you. Okay, well, fine. We'll just be better next year, and you can waste a year of your window.
We talked about this before, but can you imagine Devin Booker, Kevin Durant looking at each other going, do you believe we're back here?
Oh, here
do
we go
you believe
again.
we're here? What do you say we go light the league on fire?
Oh, how
okay.
That's the
Just
ultimate
please
storyline.
Don't get me started on that one. Jordan Ott. What kind of impact could Jordan Ott have on all of that?
Brett Siegel, who we just had on from Clutch Points, did say this about the Suns: if they can't get a trade they want.
From Phoenix's perspective, though, they want to get the maximum value possible, and that has been the message from this new regiment in the front office. It's been the message from Matt Ishbia to the organization, is that they're not going to sacrifice value here if they don't feel like they're getting the best package in return. They don't have to trade Kevin Durant at this very moment, contrary to what many people are saying. And while that is a shaky situation of bringing him back when this seems like a divorce that's been happening for the last few months, potentially you keep him, and maybe there is a path where he begins the season with the Suns and you can trade him at the trade deadline, or maybe this is something that, like with Damian Lillard last season or the year before he went to the Bucks, where it seemed like he was going to the Miami Heat, and then all of a sudden the Milwaukee Bucks got him a little bit before training camp opened up there and before the season began.
Your thoughts on that, Luke?
I'm all for it. I mean, in the moment, we come back here on Monday and this trade still hasn't happened. We get through the NBA draft, trade still hasn't happened. It's going to be like, okay, well, if we get through the draft, I don't know that we're going to be talking about it as much for a little while until something moves. Right now, it's so close to happening that it's on the forefront of everybody's mind right now. But yeah, don't sacrifice the value. I like that some of the stuff we're hearing is that the Suns are asking for a lot more than I would even ask for. Like, ask for it. You have Durant.
Yes, and take it right up to the NBA trade or the NBA draft. Take it right up to it. You got me started.
It feels like a trade deadline.
I know it does. It feels like the trade deadline. It's not. It's the NBA draft. Take it right up to it and be willing to blow through it and say, okay, we're not trading them now.
You don't really have anything to lose.
You've got to be willing to do that.
Yeah.
Those are big rectangle conversations that you've got to have.
And that, you want to talk about alignment? Everybody's got to be on the same page, because you can't have Brian Gregory being like, I'm not going to get pushed around, and Matt Ishbia saying, yeah, but you better get a deal done before the draft. I mean, you really have nothing to lose other than, I get it, you'd like to have the 10th pick in this year's draft. You want to create
that urgency with other teams. Yeah, we're definitely moving them before the draft. You want to create that, but somebody's got to be the guy that walk in and say, let it go.
There was a piece in Brett Siegel's story where he said, there's a lot of expectation around the league that teams are going to make their best offers by this weekend. So we'll see.
Thanks for watching Wolf and Luke. Tap to see more and click the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.